Thanks to Man Crates for sponsoring this edition of Patriots Report. Now that we've gone through the rumors, let's do a full recap. It was a wild week. Let's do a full recap of the Patriots additions and departures during the free agency period. And we start with the one that breaks my heart the most. Danny Amendola going to the Miami Dolphins. I can't believe I just had to say that Danny Amendola is going to the Dolphins. Am I allowed to vomit on camera? I don't think I'm supposed to, but I might. Danny Amendola, he accepted a 2-year, $12 million contract with $8.25 million guaranteed. Look, if you're Danny Amendola, you're a 32-year-old slot wide receiver in the NFL, you're coming off a great season, and a team in Miami offers you $8.25 million guaranteed. Man, I take that too. I can't really blame him too much. Congrats to him and Olivia Cupo. I hope they enjoy the Miami South Beach area. I can't just call it South Beach. I got in trouble for that once. All right, let's move to our next guy, Johnson Bademosi. Moving on to the Houston Texans. Got a huge contract. Now becomes, ready for this, the highest paid special teams player in the entire NFL. Getting 2 years, $6.25 million. Huge contract for Johnson Bademosi. I don't really know if it's 100% worth it, but hey, all the power to the Texans. They wanted him. They got him. Pat's got to keep Nate Ebner. Good luck to Johnson Bademosi. He was not a good corner in the Super Bowl. Yeah, hint to the Texans, make sure he doesn't play corner. I'll say that one more time. Johnson Bademosi should not play corner. Did not work out well. Let's move to a guy that is actually a cornerback, and that is Malcolm Butler. Look at that contract. 5 years, $61.25 million with $30 million guaranteed. Congratulations to Malcolm Butler. This is the contract he always wanted. This is the contract he always thought he was deserving of. I think he's going to do great in Tennessee. Now across with his old number 2 in Logan Ryan from the Patriots Super Bowl run. Look, this is a great move for Malcolm Butler. This is a great move for the Tennessee Titans. The Patriots were ready to let him go. I think the relationship had gotten to a point where it just wasn't acceptable anymore. Congrats to Malcolm Butler. He's on his way out. Another guy we need to give a little shout out to in terms of a guy, a former Pad, who really gave it all for the team, and that was Dion Lewis. Tore his ACL with the team. Struggled a lot with injuries, but had a great second half of the year with the team last year. 180 carries, 900 yards, 6 touchdowns. There were very few running backs in the NFL who were better than Dion Lewis down the stretch last year. Gets a $20 million contract with $8.25 million guaranteed. I do find it interesting that Dion Lewis and Danny Amendola both got the same amount of money guaranteed. That should just show you how devalued running backs currently are in the NFL, at least contractually. But good luck to Dion Lewis. I think he'll form a nice 1-2 punch with Derrick Henry down there in Tennessee. Let's move on to our next guy, Nate Solder. Again, we talked about him before. 4 years, $62 million, $34.8 million guaranteed, becomes the highest paid left tackle in football. Look, I'm not going to hate on Nate Solder. He didn't have a great season. He's been distracted with a lot of stuff going on in his life. He had cancer. His kid had cancer. There's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes for Nate Solder. And I think if you look at his most recent comments saying that this money isn't just for me, so he very much plans on giving it sharing the wealth, as they will say, and investing a lot in charities. Congrats to the Solder family. That's a lot of money, though, for Nate Solder. All I'm going to say. Let's move on to Rex Burkhead. We're getting into our re-signings now. He will be returning, and they finally gave him the contract. He was on a 1-year kind of prove-it deal with the team, and he's been given a 3-year, $9.75 million deal with $5.5 million guaranteed. That's a lot of money guaranteed for Rex Burkhead, a guy who's only going to get about $3 million less guaranteed than Dion Lewis. At that point, you just kind of wonder, don't you just re-sign Dion Lewis? A little bit of an interesting point for me. Let's move into our next guy. How about Nate Ebner? We talked about him before. We'll be getting $1.2 million guaranteed. 2 years, $5 million for a guy of his quality. I think it's a great re-signing. Still a lot of money for a special teamer, but coming off that torn ACL, we'll see if he's able to get back where he needs to be. Brandon King's another guy they're bringing back a little bit lower on the totem pole. Still a really good special teamer. 2 years, $2.6 million. Happy to have him back. And then our last re-signing is Brandon Bolden, getting a 1-year, $888,000 contract with $170K guaranteed. Only had about 13 carries for 70 yards last year, but he's one of the leaders in the locker room, and they really like having him around. I would only say he's about 1 or 2 more years left in the NFL in general before he ends up retiring. Let's get into guys that the Patriots have added from outside of the team. We start with Adrian Clayborn, talked about him before. 9.5 sacks on the year last year, though. I'm pretty sure 5 of them came in one game against the Cowboys. Shout out to you, Chaz Green. You are terrible. So Adrian Clayborn just probably made about 4 or 5 mil more than he probably should have because of that one game. But at the same time, they need depth at the DM position, and Adrian Clayborn is that guy. Our next addition was Jeremy Hill, the running back from the Cincinnati Bengals, who was pushed out of town faster than any player I've seen before. He had a couple of okay years in the NFL, and then as soon as they had the chance to get rid of him, they pushed him out. That was a wild situation for Jeremy Hill. Him and Marvin Lewis were fighting in the media. It was an ugly upset. So happy to see Jeremy Hill getting out of there. I don't think he's going to end up making the opening day roster. A one-year contract for $1.5 million plus $150K guaranteed. He is no shoe-in to make the roster. I'll put it this way. One of the roster battles to look for the Patriots is Mike Gillislee versus Jeremy Hill, who is going to get that early down running back role. Let's get into our next one. Matt Tobin, the old tackle, for the Philadelphia Eagles. He wasn't very good last year. In fact, he graded out with a 55.6 Pro Football Focus grade. Not great. Very bad. He's going to be a backup tackle. We'll see if he actually ends up making the team. And another addition, at least one that happened yesterday, is Cordarrelle Patterson. I nailed it. Let's go. Cordarrelle Patterson, 31 catches for 309 yards, a couple carries as well with some touchdowns. You know that Josh McDaniels is currently sitting in his house just writing up different reverses, double reverses, triple reverses. He can't wait to get Patterson on that offense. They're going to do so many reverses that they're not even going to have an offense anymore. Just reverses all over the place. That's all that the Raiders ran with him. 13 different carries, all of them were reverses. Absolutely wild. He'll also be a great kick returner, one of the best kick returners in the whole NFL. Let's move into another addition, Jason McCourty. You talked about him, J-Mac, the twin brother of Devin McCourty. Great to have him on the team. He will be your opening day number 2 corner unless injuries occur. A great addition for the Pats. And they poached the Browns twice now. So the first they took Jason McCourty, and they also took Danny Shelton. I love this trade. He's a great run stopper. They need someone in the middle of the field that can just stop the run. Alan Branch is gone. In comes Danny Shelton on a cheap deal this year. But that 5th-year option of $11.7 million is a huge contract. I don't think the Patriots are going to pick that up. I think they're going to wait for a season end and maybe try to negotiate a different contract. But we have a reaction poll for you guys. Which free agent do you want the Patriots to re-sign, or should I say remaining free agent? So the remaining free agents the Patriots have, we got Cameron Fleming, Matt Slater, James Harrison, and Adrian Waddle. I'm going to throw a thumbs up for Matt Slater. I want him back. I think he's the guy you need. He's the locker room leader. He leads the breakdown to the end of games. He's been one of the best Patriots of all time, a surefire Patriots Hall of Famer. I don't want to see that guy go, but at the same time, they need to bring back Cameron Fleming. They need that swing tackle. So a lot more work for the Patriots to do. Remember to follow me on Sportscene, and I'll keep you guys updated on all of their moves. Let's break down let's break down our roundup so far. I'll get to the departures first. Danny Amendola, Johnson Bademosi, Malcolm Butler, Dion Lewis, and Nate Solder are on their way out. And coming back in, we have Rex Burkhead, Nate Ebner, Brandon King, Brandon Coleman, Adrian Clayborn, and then a couple more guys. You got Jeremy Hill, Matt Tobin, Cordarrelle Patterson, and Jason McCourty, along with Danny Shelton. But that's going to do it for today for Patriots Report. Like I said before, you can follow me on Twitter @SportsThean for all of your Patriots news and updates. But for now, we'll see ya.